Don't forget to grab Estonia and Finland before the new year. They both, of course, can only survive in very cold weather, so they will be vanishing with the winter. Only you can help Estonia into Nordic. Head over to makeshift.com using that first link in the description down below to place your orders today. Geography is so unfair. It actually is. It's super messed up. Croatia and Bosnia. I knew this was going to happen.
Simply didn't want to let Bosnia have access to the Adriatic Sea.
But they do. They've got like 12 miles of coastline, which is still pretty unfair.
Bosnia and Herzegovina does have a tiny 20-kilometer strip of coastline.
But then I believe Croatia built like a bridge, making the situation even worse because the bridge isn't really that tall for some of the bigger ships. So 20 kilometers of coastline.
But to access the ocean, they still have to pass under this Croatian bridge.
Oh, there it is.
Well, another mean neighbor.
And yeah, that's a combination of like human politics and geography that's really messed with Bosnia there a bit.
Benin
in Africa.
We see Grand Popo, a narrow strip of beach that Benin took away from Togo's coastline. This 20-kilometer strip of land blocks Togo from the Atlantic Ocean and, of course, denies it the right to the sea.
Yeah, see, that's the biggest way geography can really hurt other nations around the world. Political geography, that is. I mean, it's hard to be a landlocked country. Many places want access to the ocean so they can trade. But there's also other ways geography can nerf you.
And Costa Rica knows this very well.
Costa Rica.
Its neighbor, Nicaragua, wanted to keep this lake just for itself. That's why they named it Lake Nicaragua and drew their border around it, blocking Costa Rica from accessing the lake.
That's hilarious.
Of course,
I mean,
Chile couldn't be left out, as it blocks both Argentina and Bolivia from accessing the Pacific Ocean.
The Bolivia one is way worse because, like we talked about, Bolivia is a landlocked nation. At least Argentina has access to the Atlantic Ocean, and this nation used to have access to the ocean, but their territories changed a lot since their conception. A lot of these examples just have to do with political geography, though. There's definitely more examples out there that is just purely geography. Just look at the African nation of Chad. Its territory is mostly a desert, it's a landlocked country, and they continue to lose fresh water. Lake Chad here just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Worse than even that though, you have the Maldives, the island nation in the Indian Ocean. With sea level rise, it is literally sinking into the ocean as we speak. Here's another good example, Moldova asking to have access to the Black Sea and Ukraine saying no, but that's another political geography thing. They technically can get to the Black Sea though through the Danube. But we give 20 kilometers to Bosnia so that Bosnia is not totally sad. I hate this misconception that Croatia didn't let Bosnia have a coast. If I knew a little bit about Balkan history, you would know it's a dumb thing to say. A lot of people are arguing about that. Thank you for that. Reality Explained. The 3 countries that banned Christmas. Do I know this one? Well, I'm assuming these are obviously not Christian nations. Probably Islamic ones. But I'm actually not 100%. Maybe Saudi Arabia or Iran?
The first one is Somalia.
Oh, maybe, okay, so Somalia, North Korea? Oh, communist nations too, just because, you know, they tend to be more atheist.
It was
Somalia.
in 2015.
How do you outlaw this holiday, though? Like, just any Christmas spirit at all, jail. Go straight to jail.
Country won't surprise you, as it is North Korea.
Oh, okay, North
And the
Korea.
last one is
China?
Brunei, where people live under a strict
Brunei.
Islamic dictatorship.
Ah, wow. I wouldn't have accepted. I did think there was going to be a connection to Islam, but not from Brunei. They literally banned this holiday less than 10 years ago, and now you will receive a $20,000 fine if you are caught celebrating it, or up to 5 years in prison? That's crazy. There should be no activity at all, he told reporters, adding security forces had been ordered to break up any such festivities. Imagine people just singing, the police are like, no, you can't do that! Even New Year's celebration is thrown in as bad. This is crazy because technically 8% of the population in Brunei are Christian. I'm a little surprised that North Korea banned it, but not China though. Well, I mean, North Korea would be the more extreme of the two, obviously. Saudi Arabia left the chat. In North Korea, it is forbidden to breathe. Honestly, I do understand this. At the very least, if I don't have to listen to that song anymore, that would be cool. Countries that banned Christmas, a person who traveled to one of these countries for Christmas. I mean, maybe you could still celebrate it, but who knows what would happen. Might be one of those, like, non-enforced things, really. Thanks, Globadick David. Here's another video by Kim Jong Un is a poor traveler, which, should this really be surprising? His country is literally nicknamed the Hermit Kingdom.
He's well known for not being a passionate traveler.
Well,
so he visited only 5 countries.
Okay, the 5 countries, probably China, Russia, obviously, maybe Iran, maybe Cuba?
His favorite destination is China.
Obviously, it's right next to him.
He's been there 4 times.
4 times ever? Ever? That would be crazy. Or was it last year?
In South Korea. And once he was in Singapore, Vietnam, and last year he went on his train to Russia.
Oh, okay. So I think this is of all time, and we got a lot of those.
I think it's the last country he has visited so far.
He went to South Korea? He probably just entered the DMZ zone. Is that when he went with Trump? Oh yeah, that was it. Man, this is such an insane picture. But he also visited South Korea in 2018. Crazy that his top country of destination, China, he's only been there 4 times. I would have thought a lot more. But I think this video is talking about only while he's been in power. Because in the early 90s, when his dad was still in power, they apparently faked passports from Brazil in order to visit Disney World in Florida. So he has technically been to the US. Oh, he also might have been in Switzerland as well as possibly Japan when he was younger. Yeah, so this video is only talking about while he's been in power of North Korea. He's also had several trips canceled though, one to Mongolia, one to the US to meet Trump. It is possible they renew this idea since Trump is the president-elect. Czechia is fixing Europe.
Biggest problem. Czechia is the birthplace
of all nations?
2 of the mightiest European rivers, the Elbe and the Oder.
These
rivers allow Czechia to reach the Baltic and North.
Oh, is that why Czechia is allowed to be landlocked? You just use the rivers? That's an important factor that we keep out of the conversation sometimes. However, it's still a vulnerable place to be since you have to usually sail through other nations' lands and the other nation's part of the river. Well, let's see what Czechia is going to do.
Reach the Baltic and North Seas. Down south Germany has the
Elbe is probably a lot more important for them. Let's go straight into the Atlantic Ocean there.
Danube River, which allows all these countries to reach the
But
Black
then again,
Sea.
they might do a lot of trading with these Nordic nations.
The Danube River,
and
which
the
allows
Danube.
all these countries to reach the Black Sea. Now, Czechia has planned to create canals to connect these 3 rivers. This would, for the first time in history, connect these 3 seas, meaning countries won't have to take this long route for transportation.
That would be absolutely insane. How much is that going to cost, though? Yeah, so the problem for a lot of these places in the Baltic is they do have to go first to the Black Sea, then go out through the mouth of the Mediterranean. It would be nice if they could just go straight to the North Sea. If Czechia can tax ships using its canal, it would become really influential. Oh, that's probably their idea. I'm from Czechia, never heard about building a canal, but if they will, it'll take 300 years. This project was canceled. It would pollute a lot of natural reserves. Also, one thing that's being forgotten, the Danube and the Rhine already does connect through a canal, giving these nations access to the North Sea. Czechia just wants to provide more options, though, I guess. I mean, it'd be nice if they had a direct shot back to the Baltic Sea if they can already head to the North Sea. That video was by MapLad. The plan to divide Switzerland. Oh boy. Certain Libya dictator really likes this video.
The map. During the 2009
Here it is.
G8 summit, Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi
he was not happy with the
Swiss territory among Germany, France, and Italy.
And it would make sense language speaking wise. The 4th language, the Romanish language, would be kind of screwed, but everyone else, I mean, yeah, at least you'd be able to speak your new country's language. Love how this troll move was done all the way back in 2009 and we still talk about it.
For an all-out military conflict against Switzerland.
The
reason for this beef is that in 2008, Gaddafi's son, Hannibal Gaddafi, and daughter-in-law were detained in Switzerland for 2
really
days
wanted to take them out.
their servants at a hotel. This is why in August 2009, Hannibal Gaddafi stated that if he had nuclear weapons, he would wipe Switzerland off the map.
So crazy. I feel like it's a I mean, I don't know. I want to say I feel like it's tiny bit of an overreaction. Why can't my son beat their servants in other countries? No, but it's crazy that they literally wanted to nuke Switzerland because they weren't allowing them to do this. World War I, wrong turn. World War II, failed art class. World War III, someone's son got detained. Messing with someone's family member isn't the most insane way wars have started. That's always happened in history, actually. Bro wanted to turn Switzerland into land. If it's true, then the only wrong thing Switzerland did is not detain them for much longer. I think bro was a little mad at Switzerland. What's crazy is if this Libyan leader did actually want beef at this time, Switzerland wasn't a part of NATO and they still aren't. I mean, I'm sure the NATO countries would find ways to basically help Switzerland. I mean, they're not even bordering, but you know, just some sort of conflict breaks out, kind of a guaranteed thing. Their neighbors are going to support the Swiss. What a kind guy. Didn't ask the land for himself, wanted neighbors to get it. You know, if this was a different time period in Germany, they probably would have been on board for this plan. Nah, even before the incident, Libya was having random beef with Switzerland for nothing. What's crazy is Libya was in fact building nukes at one point there, but then decided to stop. So man, what if he didn't? Bro wanted Switzerland to lose its neutrality streak. That video was by Happy Earth. Here's another one by him.
About to solve Europe's biggest war.
Let's see.
Last week, President Trump proposed a plan where Russia would annex the lands it has captured. However, it would no longer attack the West. And to ensure this, there would be a demilitarized zone patrolled by European and British
Trump's
troops.
proposed
This would secure
plan. I mean, I don't think it's officially proposed yet, but this is allegedly how he's going to stop the Russian-Ukrainian war.
In safety, and in 20 years, Ukraine could join NATO for further protection. However,
in 20
since
years.
this is just a proposal, it has a few issues like what happens to the land Ukraine recently captured. Moreover, as most of us have speculated that Russia's actual plan was to annex Ukraine and create a buffer against NATO, why would President Putin settle for just these lands?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be enough for him. He wants there to be no chance. He really wants Ukraine to remain neutral. Maybe if Trump says, okay, you know, if you don't attack, then Ukraine can remain neutral, but can you trust him anymore at this point? It's messy. This is for sure definitely not, there's no way he's going to allow this, like in 20 years, or maybe he does allow, you know, this deal to go through where Ukraine can join NATO in 20 years, but then he just attacks Ukraine again before they can join NATO, tries to annex them fully. Imagine if Trump also said, peace for our time after this proposal. Yeah, don't do that. Wait a minute, doesn't this look eerily similar to another event in history? Yeah, I think we're talking appeasement. Literally what all the comment section are talking about right now. Yeah, the Ukrainians are going to be in a very tough spot. Please subscribe to all these channels. And here are my patrons.
I finally escaped from Drew's basement.
Lucas, the Canadian Christmas trees. Honk, Argentinian Grandpa, DOOCHBAGGINS. Imperial Japan flag is the same as modern Japan. Koyle, please stop making this mistake. Amateur Archaeology. aPhatNarwhal. Connor Pavlik. DaBeautiful-MEGAN-Underwood. Fredrik Tibblin. InquisitorXarius. Tambre. Mexican.